Hello, I'm Amari Jones, and today is Thursday, July 23rd. This is Caffeine TV, your daily news brief, here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to the Real Housewives. The first number up today is 33. That's the number of charges filed by the federal government against Dylann Roof yesterday for his murder of 9 innocent black people at the Mount Zion AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina last month. Now, Dylann Roof has already been charged and arraigned by the local state government in South Carolina and will likely face the death penalty. But according to U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch yesterday, his, quote, twin goals of fanning racial flames and exacting revenge, close quote, constituted a heinous hate crime so stark that the federal government had to file charges as well. He'll stand trial in both federal and state court. Now, one thing he wasn't charged with was terrorism, and there are lots of interesting similarities between Dylann Roof and Mohammed Abdulaziz, who carried out the Chattanooga shooting last week, which has been labeled an incident of domestic terrorism. They're both lone wolves. They both use the internet to receive encouragement and guidance from various sources for their acts, and they both carried out their violence with political goals, which is itself the definition of terrorism. But Dylann Roof was charged with everything except the kitchen sink, including causing death while obstructing the religious practice of others. Anything, it seems, twisting and turning to avoid using the T word. The next number up today is 15, as in $15 an hour. That's what a panel in New York recommended be the new minimum wage for 180,000 fast food workers across the state yesterday. Governor Andrew Cuomo is expected to greenlight the change in the next couple of days. Now, this is a big deal. New York State will be the first state to apply the $15 an hour minimum wage standard rather than just cities like Los Angeles. And it's a big victory for the Fight for 15 movement, which is seeking to have $15 be the new minimum wage so that people can work 40 hours a week in minimum wage jobs and not live in poverty. Now, because of a technicality, this change will only apply to fast food workers in New York State, but will put pressure on wages across the board, and so lots of people should see rises. But the next time you walk into McDonald's and don't see your dollar menu on the board, you'll now know why. The last number today is $50 billion, as in $50 billion a year. That's, according to analysts, how much the mobile app car service Uber is worth, and yesterday Uber used that power to stop New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio right in his tracks. Now, during his campaign for mayor, one of Bill de Blasio's biggest supporters was the formal taxi cab industry, and recently his administration proposed changes that would cap the size of Uber in New York, saying that the car service was adding to New York's environmental and traffic woes. Well, Uber decided to fight back. They went out and hired a former top political lieutenant to President Obama and flooded the airwaves with essentially political messages, saying that their 2 million users were disproportionately people of color that the taxi cab industry overlooked and wouldn't take them to the communities in which they lived. It was so successful that Bill de Blasio's administration yesterday backed off. But this case isn't necessarily cut and dry. Many gypsy cab drivers are disproportionately people of color as well and serve communities of color. But in this taxi game of thrones in the social media era, digital trumps analog.